cozy little corner of the internet where we learn real English together, one easy conversation at a time. I'm David, and today we're going to talk about something that almost every English learner in the world has felt. Something that holds people back more than grammar mistakes, more than vocabulary gaps, more than accent or pronunciation. Shyness. That feeling when you know the words but your mouth won't open. When someone speaks to you in English and your brain goes completely blank even though 5 minutes ago you understood everything perfectly. When you have something to say but you stay quiet because what if I make a mistake? What if they don't understand me? What if I sound stupid? That feeling. I know it, and I want to talk about it honestly today, because I think it deserves an honest conversation, not a list of quick tips, not a motivational shout, just an honest, warm, real conversation about why this happens and what you can actually do about it. Let me tell you something personal first. I was shy in English for years, and I mean genuinely shy, not just nervous occasionally, but genuinely, deeply shy. I would avoid situations where I had to speak English because the fear of getting it wrong was so much bigger than the desire to communicate. I remember once being at an international conference, surrounded by people speaking English, and I had a question, a genuine, important, relevant question during a presentation. My hand went up halfway, and then I put it back down because I thought, what if my grammar is wrong? What if they don't understand my accent? What if I look foolish in front of all these people? The question stayed inside me. The conversation never happened, and I left that room feeling smaller than when I walked in. That's what shyness costs, not just a moment, but a piece of yourself. And today, I want to help you stop paying that cost. This is a B1 level episode, perfect if you're intermediate. If you're A2, stay with me, you'll understand more than you expect. And remember, the second listen always feels easier. Before we jump in, if LearnEng is helping you grow, please like this episode and subscribe to the channel. Every like, every subscribe, every share brings more learners like you to our LearnEng community. And I love reading every comment you leave. So come say hello after you listen. Okay, let's talk about shyness, honestly, completely, and without judgment. First, let's understand what's actually happening when we feel shy in English, because shyness in a second language is not the same as being a shy person. These are two completely different things. You might be completely confident, outgoing, funny, and articulate in your own language. You might be the person who always knows what to say, the one who makes people laugh, the one people turn to in a group. And then you open your mouth in English and suddenly you feel like a different person. Quieter, smaller, slower, less yourself. This is not shyness, this is language anxiety, and it happens to almost everyone learning a second language. It is normal, it is human, and it is not permanent. Here is why it happens. In your own language, you have automaticity. Your words come without thinking. You don't construct sentences consciously, they just appear. You think in feelings and ideas, and your language carries them naturally. In English, especially in the early and middle stages, you are still building that automaticity. You have to think, you have to construct, you have to search. And while you're doing all of that searching and constructing, you are also aware that people are waiting, watching, listening, and that awareness, that self-consciousness, is what creates the anxiety, the freeze, the blank mind. It's not lack of intelligence. It's not lack of effort. It's the natural result of doing something new and complicated in front of other people. Understanding that, really understanding it, is the first step. Because once you understand what's actually happening, the shyness stops feeling like a personal failing and starts feeling like what it actually is. A stage, a temporary stage. Here are some natural English phrases for talking about language anxiety and shyness. I freeze up when I have to speak English suddenly. My mind goes completely blank when someone speaks to me. I know the words when I'm alone, but they disappear when I need them. I get so nervous that I can't think straight. I avoid situations where I have to speak English. I understand much more than I can say. I'm fine reading and writing. It's the speaking that gets me. I overthink every sentence before I say it. That last one, I overthink every sentence. This is one of the most common things English learners tell me, and it makes complete sense. When you're not confident, you check everything before it leaves your mouth. Is the grammar right? Is that the right word? Is my pronunciation okay? And by the time you've checked everything, the moment has passed. The conversation has moved on, and you stayed silent again. The answer to overthinking is not to think less. It's to practice more until the thinking becomes automatic, until the words come before the doubt does. Let's talk about the specific situations that make English learners most anxious, because knowing your triggers is really useful. Speaking on the phone in English, this is number one for most people. You can't see the person's face, you can't read their expressions, you can't use gestures, it's just voice. And if you don't understand something, you have to ask them to repeat it, which feels embarrassing. Phone calls in English terrify a huge number of learners at every level. Speaking in a group, when there are multiple people in a conversation, finding the right moment to speak feels almost impossible. Everyone else seems so fast, so comfortable. By the time you've formed your sentence, the topic has already changed. Speaking to native speakers, there's a particular pressure that comes with speaking to someone for whom English is their first language. A fear of being judged, a fear of slowing them down, a fear of their reaction to your accent or your mistakes. Being put on the spot when someone suddenly directs a question at you and everyone is waiting for your answer. That sudden spotlight feeling, your heart beats faster, your mind empties, the words disappear. Presentations or speaking in front of a group, performing in English rather than just communicating. The stakes feel higher, the exposure feels greater. Do you recognize yourself in any of these? Most learners recognize themselves in all of them. Here are some natural English phrases for these specific situations. I find phone calls in English really stressful. Group conversations move so fast, I can never find the right moment. I feel a lot of pressure speaking to native speakers. Being put on the spot completely throws me. I get terrible stage fright when I have to present in English. My accent makes me self-conscious. I hate asking people to repeat themselves. It feels embarrassing. Now let's talk about what actually helps. Not quick fixes, not tricks, real things that genuinely build confidence over time. The first thing, and this might surprise you, is to stop waiting until you're ready. There is a very common trap that language learners fall into. I'll speak more when my English is better. I'll join that conversation when I'm more confident. I'll make that phone call when I feel ready. I'll speak up when I know I won't make mistakes. But here's the truth. Confidence doesn't come before speaking. Confidence comes from speaking. You cannot think your way into confidence. You can only act your way into it. Every time you speak English, even imperfectly, even nervously, even with mistakes, you are building a small piece of evidence that you can do this. And those small pieces of evidence stack up, little by little, until one day you realize, I'm doing this, I'm actually doing this. Here are some natural English expressions about building confidence through action. You have to do it scared. Confidence comes after the action, not before. The only way out is through. I pushed myself to speak even when I wasn't ready, and that's what changed things. You can't wait to feel confident, you have to act confident first, and the feeling follows. Every uncomfortable conversation made the next one a little easier. You have to do it scared. I love this phrase. It doesn't say the fear goes away, it says you do it anyway, with the fear still there, because the doing is more important than the feeling. The second thing that genuinely helps is reframing mistakes. Right now, for most shy English learners, a mistake feels like evidence of failure, like proof that they're not good enough, like something to be ashamed of. But what if a mistake was just information? What if it was just your brain showing you, oh, that's the thing I need to practice more? No shame, no failure, just useful data. Every mistake you make in English is a sign that you tried, that you put yourself out there, that you chose communication over silence, and that is always, always the braver choice. Here are some natural English phrases about reframing mistakes. Mistakes are proof that I'm trying. Every mistake is a lesson, not a failure. I'd rather say it wrong than say nothing at all. Nobody remembers your mistakes as much as you do. Making mistakes is part of the process, not the end of it. I'm not failing, I'm learning out loud. Learning out loud, I want you to remember that one, because that's what speaking a second language is. You're learning out loud, in public, in real time, and that takes enormous courage. The third thing that helps is finding your safe spaces to practice. Not every conversation needs to be high stakes. Not every speaking opportunity needs to feel like a performance. Find the low-pressure spaces first. Build your confidence there, then gradually expand. Talking to yourself in English, narrating your day, describing what you see, thinking out loud in English. This is completely underrated. Nobody is watching, nobody is judging, and your brain is still building the pathways it needs. Recording voice notes in English, again, private, low pressure, but genuinely useful. You can listen back. You can hear your own progress. Online conversations in English, text-based first, then voice. The distance and the screen remove some of the pressure. English podcasts and shadowing, listening to natural English and repeating what you hear, matching the rhythm and the pronunciation. This builds automaticity without the social pressure. And then gradually, real conversations, starting with topics you know well, starting with people who are patient, starting with situations where the stakes are low, and slowly expanding from there. Here are some natural phrases about finding safe practice spaces. I started by talking to myself in English. It sounds silly, but it worked. I practiced with the same person every week until I felt more comfortable. I started with low-stakes conversations before trying the difficult ones. I found an online language partner, someone who was also learning. I used to practice in front of the mirror. Recording myself was uncomfortable at first, but really helpful. I gave myself permission to make mistakes in small, safe situations first. The fourth thing, and this is important, is to shift your focus from yourself to the other person. Most shyness comes from self-focus. What do I look like? What do they think of me? What if I make a mistake? What if they judge me? Me. And when you shift that focus, when you stop thinking about how you're coming across and start genuinely thinking about the other person, something interesting happens. The anxiety decreases because you're no longer performing, you're connecting. Ask questions, be curious about the other person, listen actively, focus on understanding them rather than on monitoring yourself, and you'll find that the self-consciousness quietly fades into the background. Here are some natural English phrases about genuine connection in conversation. I stopped thinking about myself and started really listening, and everything changed. When I focus on the other person, I forget to be nervous. Genuine curiosity is the cure for self-consciousness. Ask one good question and let the other person talk. It takes the pressure off you completely. People love talking about themselves. Ask and listen, and you'll always have something to say. People love talking about themselves. This is genuinely true, and it's genuinely useful. If you're nervous in a conversation, ask a good question, then listen. Actively, genuinely listen. You don't have to perform, you just have to be present, and the conversation will carry itself. Before word tour, your mission for today. Think about one English-speaking situation that makes you most anxious. Just one specific situation. Phone calls, group conversations, presentations, speaking to native speakers, whatever it is for you. Now write 2 sentences in English. The situation that makes me most anxious is, the one small step I will take this week to face it is. 2 sentences, specific, honest, yours. Post it in the comments if you want. This is a completely safe space. Every single person in our LearnEng community is on the same journey. There is no judgment here, only support. All right, my friend, time for word tour, our slow vocabulary walk through today's most useful words and phrases here on LearnEng. Take your time. Repeat after me out loud if you can. First phrase, freeze up. To freeze up means to suddenly be unable to speak or act because of nervousness or anxiety. Your mind goes blank. the words disappear. I always freeze up when someone calls me unexpectedly in English. She froze up during the presentation, but took a breath and kept going. Freeze up, freeze up. Next phrase, put on the spot. To be put on the spot means someone suddenly directs attention or a question at you when you weren't expecting it, and you feel pressured to respond immediately. I hate being put on the spot in meetings. I need time to think. He was put on the spot and didn't know what to say. Put on the spot, put on the spot. Next phrase, language anxiety. Language anxiety is the specific nervousness or fear that comes from speaking in a second language, not general shyness, but the particular stress of performing in a language you're still building. Language anxiety is completely normal and very common. Understanding language anxiety helped me stop feeling ashamed of it. Language anxiety, language anxiety. Next phrase, self-conscious. If you feel self-conscious, you are very aware of yourself, how you look, how you sound, what others think of you, in a negative, uncomfortable way. I feel really self-conscious about my accent. He was so self-conscious during the presentation that he forgot what he wanted to say. Self-conscious, self-conscious. Next phrase, do it scared. To do something scared means to take action even though the fear is still there. Not waiting for the fear to go away, moving forward with it. You have to do it scared. The fear doesn't disappear before you act. It disappears because you act. She did it scared, and it was the best decision she ever made. Do it scared, do it scared. Next phrase, overthink. To overthink means to think about something too much, going over and over every detail until the thinking itself becomes the problem. I overthink every sentence before I say it, and by then the moment has passed. Stop overthinking and just speak. Imperfect words are better than perfect silence. Overthink, overthink. Next phrase, learning out loud. Learning out loud means learning in public, in real conversations, in real situations, where people can see and hear your process. It takes courage. It's the fastest way to improve. Speaking a second language is learning out loud, and that is always brave. Give yourself credit for learning out loud every single day. Learning out loud, learning out loud. Next phrase, stage fright. Stage fright is the fear or nervousness that comes from performing in front of others, originally from theater, but used for any public speaking or performance situation. I get terrible stage fright when I have to present in English. Even experienced speakers get stage fright. The key is doing it anyway. Stage fright, stage fright. Next phrase, comfort zone. Your comfort zone is the familiar safe space where things feel easy and known. Expanding your comfort zone means gradually doing things that feel uncomfortable until they become comfortable. Every English conversation outside my comfort zone made me stronger. Growth only happens outside the comfort zone. Comfort zone, comfort zone. Last phrase, speak up. To speak up means to say something, to use your voice, especially in a situation where you might be tempted to stay quiet. I'm learning to speak up even when I'm nervous. She finally spoke up in the meeting, and everyone was glad she did. Speak up, speak up. Those are your 10 phrases for today here on LearnEng. Freeze up, put on the spot, language anxiety, self-conscious, do it scared, overthink, learning out loud, stage fright, comfort zone, speak up. Pick 2, use them this week. Write them in your own sentence. Say them out loud. That's how they become yours. And here we are at the end of another LearnEng episode together. I want to say something important before we go. Shyness in English is not a character flaw. It is not a sign that you're not good enough or not smart enough or not ready enough. It is a completely human response to a genuinely difficult and courageous thing, communicating in a language that is not your own. And every single time you open your mouth in English, even when your voice shakes, even when the words come out wrong, even when you have to ask someone to repeat themselves, you are being brave, in the most real and practical way. I want you to remember the person in that conference room with their hand half raised, who put it back down, who left feeling smaller. I don't want that for you, and I don't want that for myself anymore either. So speak up, even when you're scared, even when it's imperfect, even when the words aren't quite right, because the imperfect spoken word will always, always be more powerful than the perfect silent one. Your mission, 2 sentences, the situation that makes you most anxious, the one small step you'll take this week. Post it in the comments. I'll read every single one, and I'll be cheering for you. Tell me, where are you listening from right now? What time of day is it for you? I love picturing every corner of the world where our LearnEng community is sitting right now. If today's episode moved you or helped you in any way, please like this video, subscribe to LearnEng, and share it with one person who needs to hear that it's never too late. Because someone in your life needs this today. I'm sure of it. I'm David. This has been LearnEng, your cozy place to learn real English one conversation at a time. And I'll see you in the next episode. Keep going, keep building, keep believing. It's never too late, and you are proof of that. Bye for now.